Hi guys, I want to open this actually on a disclaimer first before we start talking about Peddler today. I have seen a lot of response on other platforms and other content creators' videos, so I want to set a boundary now. You are open to discussion and all viewpoints are welcome, but please respect each other. And please have respect for me and refrain from any kind of insults or anything like that, okay? This video I'm making is to provide my perspective and my ideas to open up the conversation so that other people can show theirs as well. It is not a safe space for you to insult other people or for other people to insult you, and any comments along these lines will be deleted. I just want to put that warning out now. Please respect each other, and I hope that we can engage in fruitful and insightful conversations. Alright, with that out of the way, guys. Haha! Twitter is on fire right now because of this Hunter's release, and I have not seen all of the skills yet. I've seen little clips, and I have heard the commotion that it has caused, so this video will serve as kind of double of a reaction and of theorizing and strategizing, if that makes sense. For anyone who does not know me, here's a brief introduction. I am Max Martinez. I am a mid-tier hunter main, but I have been survivor also mid-tier. And when I say mid-tier, I mean like tier 5 generally. I regularly face people way above my tier, and I regularly face people below my tier, and I have done for over 10 seasons now. So I think I might have a good middle ground perspective to provide on this. But if you don't want to listen to my opinion, that's okay. There's plenty of high tier players who are covering this topic. I just want to provide my perspective as someone who is almost perfectly in the middle, if you will. With that out of the way, I'm nervous. I'm gonna link this video below for anyone who wants to watch this without me talking all over it. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, but I'm gonna turn the volume down a little because it might be really loud. I'm deaf, so I have the volume up usually. But I think this video has text through it, so I'm probably gonna pause and read. And let's see how this goes. This is so exciting. I'm gonna read that, hold on. Am I meant to read this out loud? Do you guys want me to read this out loud? I don't know. I'll read it out loud and I'll put timestamps if you want to skip that. Valentina Yaga Vasilieva. I can't fathom how incorrectly I probably pronounced that, and I feel a deep-rooted shame and a very sincere need to apologize to everyone. I'm really sorry if that's a horrible pronunciation. When the once blissful household crumbled into ruins, the former Valentina vanished alongside it. Under the ghastly moonlight, the gaunt silhouette remains, while the uncanny ballad echoes eternally through the veil of night. Pretty cool. I like her design a lot. I think she looks awesome. Wanted Moonlight Deal, new Hunter Peddler. This is so exciting. Oh, her in-game model looks so good. I love how the basket, sorry, I'm gonna pause this a lot. I love how the basket, you can see what's in it changes. So it's rocks and then it's, I'm not sure what that is. Looks like little gems. It looks so cool. I love her weapon too. So this is what I've seen. That's what everyone's freaking out about, which I think is really exciting. So what's it say? The Peddler can absorb various components from the environment, causing them to lose their original functionality while granting her new abilities. She can store 2 charge for each ability and can hold up to 5 charges for all abilities. So she can't have maximum charge for all of them? Is that what that means? Hold up to 5 charge for all abilities. So she can only have 5 at a time, which is 2 max charge abilities and then 1 ability that is not max charge? Question mark. The Peddler has complete control over when to switch and release his abilities. The first thing I'm noticing, as a PC player, look at that setup of buttons on the side. Mobile players, it's going to be a breeze for you. As a PC player, I can already feel the pain under my fingers from the amount of keybinds she probably will have. Good God. I'm anxious. Let's go. Yeah, this is what people are freaking out about, the going through walls. I think that's interesting to me. Because it's gonna be a counter to like short looping, right? Like, people aren't gonna just be able to abuse some absolutely busted areas anymore because she's just gonna walk right through them. But the thing is, she has to charge this up, and then also whatever cooldown, and you can see, like, over here, it has a very temporary amount of time it lasts, so I don't think it's permanent. How long does that last? Yeah, see, that doesn't last. Well, it might last a little while, actually. I thought that was a lot shorter. But, you know, in a situation like that, I would think transition away, right? That's just what I'm thinking. Like, you know, how to counter that. You would transition away. If you have, like, cheerleader and you've got, like, speed scale or anything like that, that's going to help you a lot. Or stunners might be able to deal with that. Sorry, I'll strategize after. Let me just briefly run through this video and understand her fully first. And then we can start pulling strategies together. Peddler can absorb components from the environment, such as ground elements, obstacles, or metal obstacle objects. Within 8 meters of her, the natural... What the hell does that mean? She just sucks the ground? Is that what I'm understanding? The absorption takes 1 second, during which her movement speed is reduced by 50%. Okay, that's horrible, because she already looks pretty slow. Peddler absorbs natural elements within a 1.5 meter radius. The area affected by this absorption experiences a withering for 12 seconds. Survivors entering this area will be ensnared by vines for 2 seconds. This grants the Peddler the Nature's Affinity ability. So, do the survivors have to enter the area for her to get that, or is that she just has it for doing it at all? I'm thinking it's probably the second option, which is okay, but it still takes 12 seconds to charge up, I'm presuming. Or unless this is her using the charge. We'll see. No, that is her charging up. So, at the very minimum, it does take 12 seconds to charge up. So, Peddler can absorb components from the environment such as ground elements, obstacles... Oh, this is the same thing. What am I on about? No, mineral. Here we are. The Peddler can absorb mineral-based obstacles with certain thickness, causing parts of the obstacle to vanish and create a temporary passage for 14 seconds. So I'm thinking these are kind of like her cooldowns. Almost. They're her charge up, so 12 seconds, 14 second charge up. Those are comparable to Mary's Mirror, honestly. And then the actual skill themselves, I imagine, will also have a cooldown as well to it. And all of these decrease her movement speed dramatically. So far, I'm not seeing anything that is, like, scary to me, if that makes sense. Maybe that's because I'm, like, a really optimistic person. Nothing really tends to scare me. But I just don't think that this right now is scary, if that makes sense. I don't know, we'll have to see. Okay, metal. The Peddler can absorb metallic objects like undecoded cipher machines, unopened chests, unused consoles, cabinets, unoccupied rocket chairs, causing them to become inactive for 12 seconds. So what does it mean by undecoded? Like 0 progress cipher machines? Or is that cipher machines that just haven't been completed yet? I'm thinking it's, again, the second option, but this is also 12 seconds. So this skill here has 12, this is 14, and this is 12 as well. Interesting. And yeah, they all take a second to absorb. Okay. And this is now the actual skill. After absorbing natural elements, the peddler can use vines in her basket to grow forward. Clicking the ability again will pull the peddler to the target location. If the target is a survivor, they will be bound for half a second to 2.8 seconds, depending on the length of the vine. The maximum vine length is 3.5 meters. So is that they're bound longer if they're closer? Or I'm thinking they're bound longer if they're further away, right? But that still means, because it doesn't seem like it pulls her. We'll see, we'll see. Oh, it does pull her. Oh, okay, that's a free hit then. Oh, that's interesting. After absorbing mineral-based obstacles, Peddler can release mineral shards in a 15-meter area. Upon impact, the shards explode, dealing a portion of a normal attack sphere value as damage to survivors in the radius. The explosion forms a gravel zone for 8 seconds that reduces survivor interaction speed and decoding speed for 20% up to 10 seconds. That is strong. If there's any part of their kit that they might nerf, it might be this one. I'm thinking they might make it chip damage, or they might reduce the debuff to survivors. Maybe by time or by percent. They might bring it down to 15 or 10%, or they might bring it down to maybe 8 seconds, you know? So if there's a nerf that is gonna come, I would imagine it's gonna be for this ability, and maybe the Vine ability too. Because that can be a free, like, really fast down. You get a normal hit, and then that can be a terror shock too, almost immediately after. Sorry, I should be reading this. I'm sorry. After absorbing metallic objects such as undecoded cipher machines, chests, and stuff, Peddler surrounds herself with gems that reduce control, knockback, and slow effects for 50% for 8 seconds. Her attack range increases by 2 meters and movement speed by 10%. Okay. So this is... Hold on. I go back. Hold on. So this is one where she's not using it, and this is one where she is, right? Let's see it. Yeah. Oh, wow. That, yeah, harassing against her is not gonna be easy. Wow. Okay, that's exciting that they actually gave her something to do with harasser. Because that's something, because her abilities right now remind me a lot of Clark, and that's something that Clark is quite weak to, is multiple harasser, generally. So it's really interesting that she has something in her kit to deal with that, and that it's this powerful. I think that that's quite good for her. I don't know if her walking speed is really slow or not. I can't tell from these clips. And that's... Jesus Christ. But how long does that last? How long does that hit last? For 8 seconds, I think, as well. Wow. Steady profit. Hold on, I'm not understanding that. Maximum absorption range is increased 12%. So that's when you use the skill versus when you don't. And recovery time after each absorption is reduced. Okay. Oh, that's like max presence. I see. Okay, I'm understanding, okay. So her maximum presence, her skills ultimately last a shorter time, but she can put them out much further, which means that she can have just a little bit more control of the map. But it seems a lot of her skills that would be map control, like the metal absorption, they all seem really short range. Which is interesting for her. I think the only long range skill she has is the vine. And even that, 35 meters, that seems quite far to me, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, that seems like quite a short range thing. It's still... Good God, that's a big hitbox. Okay, so that's not a guaranteed hit. Alright. That's one thing that a lot of Survivor players and such were worried about, that this would be a guaranteed hit. It doesn't look like it is. But does it still pull her? It does. Okay. Honestly, though, that could be a well-timed pallet stun if you're careful. I don't know. I'm just thinking, honestly. So her kit just looks to me like a lot of mind gaming. You know? Especially with, like, the going through walls. Like, you can't just throw that down impatiently because it takes time to charge, and then once it's up, it doesn't look like a skill you can cancel. So it's gonna be a bit like Mary's Mirrors, where if you throw it down recklessly, you will ultimately lose more time than you gain. That's what I'm thinking. So the penalty of that is that you have to be careful and you have to have, use it at a crucial time. And, it's up for 14 seconds, and then for Final Presence, it comes down quicker, which sounds quite bad, but I think that works better for her since her skills stay up so long at low presence. I think that's going to be really beneficial for her. Or is that only for the nature one? I'm not sure. That might be only for the nature one. Nice. That's good. That's good. Okay. There's a lot to discuss here. Let's go way back to the start. I already talked about the basket. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't have an issue actually with her going through obstacles like this because there's plenty of other hunters that can do it. And the fact that she can go back and forth, but it still takes her time to walk through it. It's not like Priestess where she just, snap and appears on the other side and can go back through that, instantaneously. She has to walk back and forth, which in itself will take time. So honestly, you could probably still continue to loop her around an area like this, I think Birdcage is just a really strong example, but in a lot of chase, I cannot see this being particularly helpful unless you've got survivors who are like camping a pallet or something. Or if there's a pallet in the way, then it would be kind of like Clerk pulling up the pallet again so she can just walk through and get a hit. That's the way I envision it. I don't see it being absolutely game-changing. I don't know. I mean, does it also have limited range? I imagine it does, right? Because it only goes through a certain, like, length of wall. So it's not going to be like where you can put it on like the giant barrels on maps and go through like a huge side, like one of Priestess's longer portals. I think it has a short range, so it's really only going to be good for like mind gaming, or getting to like a cipher faster, like if you need to get into like Birdcage or I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be more for like mind gaming and convenience than it is gonna be for like genuinely something that I would be worrying about if I'm playing against Peddler. I think because you could see this coming, because you'd see the heartbeat and stuff, you could run to the pallet behind, and then if you drop that pallet, she still has to break that pallet and, you know, or you can go up the stairs. All she's done is essentially gotten into hospital just a little faster. But if you have good reaction to like this specific scenario they show here, it's probably not going to be an issue. I think the other example they showed, I don't know where it was, I'm sorry, here. I think this will be a little more problematic, but at that stage, I wouldn't be going here like Knight was. I'd be going back over this palette, you know, and trying to loop this area. The thing is, can survivors go through here? Because if they can, that changes it entirely. If the survivors can go through here, that completely changes it, because then it's a looping area for you as it is for her. You know? But I can definitely see how this could potentially be used to pressure rescues and such. If you've got a survivor who's like, I don't know, coming to rescue, and she can just cut right through here instead of having to walk all the way around. I can see how that's going to be a little more of a nuisance in my opinion, but I think in general, Chase, this ability is probably going to be fine. It's the kind of thing we have to wait and see when it's in game. I think a lot of survivors will be able to deal with this. We'll have to see. Oh, I just realized Peddler, they're showing Knight in these clips. Knight can lock her abilities, no? Is that not going to be super strong against Peddler anyway, since most of her kit is abilities, right? I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Does the charging things count as an ability? Or is it like actually using the things that counts as the ability? I might have to, when I get her, I will have to ask my friends to hop in customs match with me so we can try all this stuff out. That's locking the cipher machine. I don't have an issue with that. 12 seconds is okay. It's gonna be annoying for survivors, but there are, you know, again, there are plenty of other hunters who can lock ciphers, you know, and Disciple being one, Clerk being another. I think the combination of abilities is what's scaring people most, because it's kind of like when you see something that you kind of recognize but not really, and it kind of looks really uncanny. Seeing a hunter with this many abilities looks terrifying, but if you think of it from this perspective, it's terrifying to me as a hunter player how much of this I'm gonna learn, you know? Because this is gonna take forever. This is gonna take a long time to get used to all of this. And I think, like, just on the basis of, like, as I mentioned earlier, the PC controls, this is gonna be hard. And that's not to say survivors have no justified concern. I have no issue with that. But I think it's the kind of thing, again, you know, I'm not calling for a nerf yet, because I think a lot of these, if we sit down and open the conversation, we can already speculate on counters here. The Vine might be able to be flywheeled. We don't know that yet, though. You know? You know how Bane's hook is able to be flywheeled and it just completely misses? Yeah, the Vine might be like that, too. Or maybe you'll have to kite her around areas with high walls. I'm not sure yet. The Vine might not even reach over small walls. It might be like open only kind of skill, but you know, we don't know yet. So I don't think that anyone is like wrong for panicking over this. I don't think anyone is right for not panicking over it. I think that we just don't know yet until it's in game. I would like to see Peddler like in her raw form like this first in game, so that I can have experience playing against her and experience playing with her. And then maybe when we play with her, certain characters might prove to be really strong, others maybe not so much, you know? But I really think characters like Knight, maybe Puppeteer, maybe are gonna be quite good against her. I think having a decoder on your team as well, just to counter the cipher locking mechanism, I think that's gonna be really good too. I think that's definitely kind of like stuff we already run now anyway in rank often. I can't explain how many times I see Knight, Puppeteer, and maybe a Fire Lady or a Prisoner. It seems like every other match to me personally, you know? But it's the kind of thing that I want to wait and see until it's in the match, you know? It's interesting how the stun varies in time. I would like to see that, really a better demonstration of it. So whether it is like a longer vine stuns for longer. But also there's a slight trade-off with that, because you've taken all of that time to summon the vine, you know? For a shorter vine, it's smaller, so the damage is done faster and stuff like that. But the vine has to shoot out on the map and then pull you over, and if that's a really long vine, that's a lot of time waste. Like, you might get a really long stun. It can be really good for potentially, you know, getting rescues forced over half. But I can still see it being, you know, a slight trade-off as well. We'll see. We'll have to see about that one. I think the damage... I really think that this is the part that they should nerf, if they're gonna nerf, and make that a chip thing instead of, like, a full attack, if that makes sense. Because she is evidently a chase hunter, quite clearly. And I think that this is quite a strong ability, but you've got to think as well, alright? She's got to charge all of this up first, which means she's got to spend an amount of time doing an animation before she can actually use said skill, right? Which is why I don't think I'm scared by this, because the cooldowns are 12, 14, and 12, you know, respectively, for nature, rock, and mineral. So I'm really thinking she can't overlap skills. I don't think, because this video doesn't show her doing that, right? If she could overlap skills, surely Nettie's would show that, right? But we'll have to, again, wait and see, or maybe someone with access to test servers can show that, I'm not sure. But I really don't think she can overlap these skills, which is why I'm not nervous about Peddler at all, because I think to kite her, if you have to only focus on one of these skills, maybe at a time, there's a lot, but, you know, again, Clerk has a lot. She can pull down pallets, she can break them, she can, you know, bring the pallets back up again, she can vault a window, she can make you vault the window again, you know, she can lock ciphers, she can pick up your decoding, she can remove your decoding. But she has all that skill and we still don't necessarily fear Clerk. And I don't think Peddler should be subject to fear yet. I think we really should wait and see until she's in-game. I'm not scared if her abilities are one at a time. It just means that you're going to have to pay attention to what ability she's using. And if that's the case as well, it means that she is going to be so heavily... Sorry. It means she's going to be so heavily countered by voice call. So if you're on 4-man voice call, this is going to be a breeze for you, probably, because you can communicate to each other what skills she's just used, and, you know, you can pay attention to maybe how many charges she has, maybe what her cooldowns are, and stuff like that. If she's got a skill on the map, you can let the other guys know. And essentially keeping track of that will help you to counter her, because then you will be less likely to fall for any mind gaming that, you know, the Peddler player might pull on you. So that's what I'm thinking her hard counters are gonna be, is voice call, namely. Unsurprising, I know, but voice call is gonna be absolutely meta. It's this part I'm interested in. That knockback difference is crazy, and the stun recovery. That's really good. Imagine her with like max rage persona. That would be crazy. But I'm excited for that, honestly. Like, it's gonna be so interesting. I feel like if there's any reason you're not gonna run Broken Windows, this here is your definitive reason to run Flywheel on Harasses if you don't already. Because if you're gonna go up against Peddler, then you're going to want it for the stun recovery alone. It's so interesting though to me. I don't know, I think she's awesome. Like, as a hunter player, I think she's awesome. I think as a survivor player, I'm not scared yet. And I don't think I will be scared until I see, like, some of the best Peddler players out there, but we're gonna do this as a journey. I think that this is gonna be okay. I think she's really cool. I think that that hitbox change is insane, though. I will not defend that. That is crazy. That is crazy. I will not defend that. And that's her normal hit, by the way. That's not her charge hit. I'm not defending that one. That's crazy. I think maybe it should be 1.5 meters, not 2 meters. That is crazy to me. They might nerf that too. We'll have to see, though. I think that's okay. Wait, is that her attack recovery is increase? No. Okay, this clips are just out of sync then. Oh, that movement speed is crazy. But again, I don't know why they're showing a knight in the video when knight probably is going to be her biggest counter. Just because of the skill locking and attack locking, you know? Hi. Okay. So this is her presence ability then, yeah. Okay. I'm so lost for words. I don't have anything super... You know what's weird? I'm sitting here watching this and trying to think of things to say. I don't have anything that I think no one else before has not already said. Does that mean I don't feel like I have any unique insight? But these are just my thoughts. I really feel like she has in her kit, obviously, to counter harasser. Somewhere over here. No. Really somewhere here. This is gonna counter harasser a lot, but how long does that last? Like 8 seconds. So if you just like wait for that cooldown, and imagine she's just sitting there, right? Like you can still continue to harass. This is absolutely not a don't harass, there's no point kind of situation. You can still harass with this. It's gonna be harder, but you can absolutely still harass with this. And then once the cooldown's gone, she's still very susceptible and probably weak to harassing again, you know? So I don't see this as being ginormous, but it can be game-changing in the right hands type thing, which is true of every hunter. Every hunter and every hunter's skills can be game-changing and absolutely busted in the right hands. But I think that this is definitely going to help her against like harasser comps, which will be like things like anti-carrion and stuff like that, you know? I think this will be good, but it's not a Percy situation where harassers are completely useless. I think you can still harass against her successfully. I think actually it's going to be in situations like this where Cowboy might shine a lot because he doesn't require like what do you call it's not necessarily like a stun he does, and he can do it from like quite the distance away is what I'm thinking. So he doesn't have to get closer to the hunter to pull off the rescue like an anti-carrion does, where, you know, she would get her recovery back and get a hit really fast. Cowboy's not in that same danger, so I think that this is going to be really good counter by Cowboy. Just my thoughts. I'm not sure how other harassers would do with this. I think it really puts a slight limit on forward and anti-carrion, especially because of the knockback and slow effect. But I think Cowboy is still going to be a really safe harasser option, and I still think Batter might be a safe harasser option too. Even if you don't send her flying back anymore. If that makes sense. And yeah, the stun recovery here is insane. I cannot explain that one. I don't think this means Coordinator is like useless against her either, though. I just think that this means you'll have to time your gun a lot better to make sure you're not trying to, you know what I mean, like do all the same things that coordinators tend to usually do, you know, bait the balloon drop and such like that. Because I think Peddler is going to be quite okay in that regard. Some peddlers might want to take the gun just to get it out and away, but you know, you could then even save your gun so that you can have it for after the rescue's pulled off, you know, to buy the survivor time to run away, you know. So that might be a good way to use coordinator against her. But I'm struggling for explanation for this one. This is crazy to me. Yeah, this is also, like, I'm kind of like breath of relief to see that, honestly, because acrobats are like a nightmare to me. Just because I'm a Blood Queen player, so I'm already so slow, and then I walk into their slow bomb, and I'm even slower, you know? So I'm glad that Peddler has something in her kit that can deal with that. But I think, you know, again, it's gonna be, you know, I don't think it's useless to use your bomb on her. I just think it's gonna have, you know, less of an effect, but that might mean that you have to use it, you know, at a critical time where maybe you need to guarantee you get to a pallet or something, you know? So I think it's not useless to use these kind of characters. I think it just means you have to be careful with how you use them, you know? Which was true before anyway, but I think even more so now if you want to successfully kite Peddler. That speed is crazy. Because she already looked, actually this is the perfect segment to find out how fast she walks. Because that looks really slow to me on like this side. That looks, her normal walk looks really slow, and then she gets really fast. Which is kind of like Soul Weaver, I guess, so it's not horrible. Yeah, that looks really slow walk speed. And maybe that's why she's got so much stun in her kit, is because she is a very slow walking hunter. That might be it, honestly. I think, because she looks really slow to me. I don't know about you guys, she looks really slow walking to me. I think this is so cool though. I'm really glad that IDV is giving us more complex hunters. A lot of the early game hunters were very single skill, and they suffer in the meta because of it. Because there's so many survivors with so many different skills, like Cheerleader, Antikyrian, Wendy, Knight. And because of all of that, they kind of... I'm not saying Wendy's like meta or anything, I'm not saying that at all, but because there's so much versatility and skill on the survivors that have been coming out recently. I don't include Puppeteer really, but that's because his skill is literally become a puppet, break your back, you know? But I think it's really good to see NetEase trying to give hunters more diversity in skills, because it means that they're gonna do slightly better by means of versatility. It's a struggle I find quite a lot with a lot of the older hunters as I play them, is that they are very restricted because their kit is like 1 or 2 skill. And you have to rely on your persona web almost completely to carry you the rest of the way, or on trait. Like the difference in difficulty I find when I play like Naiad or Mary versus Shadow is crazy to me, you know? And that's because Shadow's very strong, but it's because she has diversity in her kit. She can teleport, she can leech onto survivors, she can see them because she's leeching onto them, and the biggest thing, you know, they can't look at her. So I'm really glad that Valentina is also getting a wide kit. I want to be completely honest with you guys, I knew the second they announced her in the live stream that I was going to main her. I knew. I didn't tell you guys, I don't think, but I knew that that was going to happen because she's another female hunter. I don't know if you've noticed a trend on my channel, but I play predominantly female characters because I find that they have a lot of kit that I personally enjoy. A lot of chase style and such like that, and a lot of, I just like them, man. You know? That's not to say the male survivors and hunters are boring to me. Absolutely not. I love some of them. But my preference generally tends to be with the female characters, and I knew the second they released Peddler in the live stream, I knew I was going to play her because she has a cool design, and her S tier is pink. Need I say more? I'm just really glad that she has such a broad kit. If they nerf her, I won't be sad, but I hope that if they're gonna nerf her, it's at least after we've already seen this version of her in the game first. Because I don't want her to be nerfed based off of the experience of players who have never faced her or played her yet. I want her to be nerfed based off of the data shown by people who have used her or been against her, you know? So that we can get actually accurate nerfs for her. And also, her skills might look broken now, but we're seeing her on Sacred Heart, you know? I want to see how her skills vary map to map as well, you know? Like, open maps might be really good for her because of the long vine, but it might be really bad for her as well because she doesn't have many spots where she can, phase through on her, on her, like, rock, on her rock walkthrough, you know? So she might fare well on maps that are decently cluttered, you know? Large, but, with lots of open space and closed space areas, you know? That's what I'm thinking, but I want to see this in-game before we start calling for nerfs, you know? And the good thing about new characters is they don't get... They don't get added to, like, rank and stuff immediately, so that's our time. Like, as Survivor, as Hunter, to be getting our practice in to learn what works and what doesn't, you know? But ultimately, I don't think it's worth being scared yet. I think we should play it by ear, wait and see. Maybe it will be okay, maybe it won't be okay. A lot of people thought Wendy was going to be absolutely broken when she got in game, and then it turned out that, oh, she's actually a lot more manageable than we thought she would be. Myself included, by the way, I was guilty. You know? So I think if we just be patient and let it happen, then I think ultimately we're going to be okay. And I think it's going to be okay. Now, I've talked about her skills to the best of my ability, I think. Again, I don't think I have anything unique to say. I think everyone who's already made a video like this has said everything I've probably said. Maybe significantly better than me. So what I will talk about now is my plans. What I plan to do, what's going to happen with her. I've already mentioned that I want to main her. I will. I will be getting her. I will be playing her. I've set myself the challenge. I will have all of her deductions completed in a week, and if I don't, I haven't thought of a punishment yet, but there will be one. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Peddler. I'm gonna be recording a lot of gameplay with her, and as I'm learning her, I'm gonna share with you guys what I think works, what I think doesn't, what things survivors have used against me that are very aggravating, so that maybe we can, as we experience her, come together and think, hey, that kind of countered me there. Or hey, that didn't counter me at all, you know? So that we can, like, help each other. And as well, at this time, I will be playing Survivor a little more so that I can experience Peddlers in my matches as well. And I will be recording a lot of that gameplay too. So that you can see, if you're too nervous to try yourself, you can see what it looks like from my perspective. And we're gonna see how this is. That's my plan. I'm thinking it's gonna be okay though. I'm really not scared at all. I think that this is gonna be a brilliant opportunity for everyone to get better and understand her better. And I think that that's what we all should do. Take that kind of approach, you know? So I'm really excited actually that this is the way we're gonna go. Will I be buying her S tier? Yes, I will. As I said, it's pink. What more could I want? Actually, it has very similar color to Lady Bella, which, for anyone who does know me, will know that I absolutely adore the white, the pink, the gold. She has that, and she looks kind of horrifying too, and I love that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick up Peddler, try her in customs for a bit just until I get used to the PC controls, and then we're gonna take her a bunch in quick match and possibly even rank. We'll have to see about that. I'm hesitant about that last part. She will not be replacing Mary. That's not gonna happen. I love Mary. She's my queen. She's my gorgeous love. But there will be a dramatic increase in hunter content dedicated to Peddler, and survivor content dedicated to facing Peddler. Hopefully I get a lot of them in my matches, we'll have to see. But those are my plans for the near future, and I hope that that puts anyone at ease. Oh, yeah. And while it's on my head, I saw a lot of people saying that people have made Peddler this strong because they need more people to play Hunter. I'm not sure if that's a joke or not, but just in case there are people out there that genuinely believe it, I want to dismantle this now. A lot of the people saying that are from NEU, and I want to just make it a little more clear that the experience on NAU is not the same as Asia server or China servers. Actually, we are the odd one out. You see, both Asia server and China server have more Hunter player than Survivor player. NAU is actually the only server with more Survivor player. All of these Hunters coming out have nothing to do with the amount of Hunter players or not. These are quite literally just the design choices that NETEASE has made. I hope that that clears up anything for people that have been saying that, but I only bring it to attention because I really can't tell if it's a joke or not, and there's so many people saying it that I am nervous that there are people out there believing it. But it's not true. Most survivors are Hunter heavy in terms of players. Okay, guys. Hi. So, it's the day after. I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up at 8 in the morning. I fell asleep at 3:30 in the morning. But during that time, I was thinking a lot because this was after I recorded my first 2 voice notes about Peddler. This is the 3rd one now. And while I was thinking more about counters and strategies, I haven't thought quite yet on Persona because we don't know what her window vault speed looks like, what her pallet breaking speed looks like. So I'm gonna leave Persona Web until we can actually see all of that. But yeah, I was thinking more about it. I think the vine is counterable. By juking and whatnot, if you can get it to latch onto a part of the map instead, which it has, been shown to be able to do. But I think as well, similar to Anne's cats, if you are playing Prospector or Little Girl, you can place a page or your magnet down. And for Little Girl, if you can time it well, you can probably cancel out the stun, or at least push the Hunter away, which is really good because her range for pushback has just been buffed tremendously. So I think Little Girl is going to be a good counter to the Vine. I think Prospector, much for the same reason that Disciple and Anne cat stuns get counted in that same way. I'll have to find a video showing what I mean, but you might understand it well. And I think also for the same reason, little girls that can leech and body block are also going to be really strong against the Vine, even though that part has a little bit of questionability to it because the stun itself can last 3 seconds. So I think that will be very dependent on what her attack recovery looks like. What else? Perfumer, much like Anne's cats, can probably counter the stun as well if she perfumes right before the Vine gets on her. And Matthias also for the same reason, because I don't think Matthias can be stunned out of Louis. If he can, then I'm sorely mistaken, but I don't think he can. So that period where you have a Perfumer or you have Louise might be able to counter, like, it will serve as like a period of like technical immunity where if you get hit, you take a chip damage, or for Perfumer, you can perfume it back and then run. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking any characters that can outrun the Vines, cheerleader, and such like that. I will be excited to see if Antiquarian might be able to swing away the Vine. I don't think so, but it'll be very interesting to see. I also was talking to some people in the global chat, and someone, I don't remember your username, I'm sorry if you find this, but someone brought up that Wendy could be a possible counter because she can fly. And if you can time that well, you can straight up avoid the Vine since it seems to be ground-based. Which I quite agree with that. I think that's a good counter. I think, as I said, people like Knight, if you've got a Knight supporting you, then he might be able to block the ability. Anything along those lines is going to be good, but otherwise, staying in kind of walled areas is probably going to be your friend against Peddler. It's hard. It's really hard because, yes, she can go through the walls, but as I mentioned, there's an animation for that, so you can see it happening. And during that time, you can maybe, like, rotate away a little bit. I'm not saying, make it halfway across the map in that time, but, get to, like, a window or a pallet where you can make a little bit of distance. But I think the best case scenario is to just break line of sight for as long as you can, which is pretty standard for kiting any hunter, so that checks out. Just because I know that the Vine was something that people were vehemently terrified of. These are possible counters that I'm thinking of now, but as I said, I think you can bait it possibly to like leech onto like a wall or a pallet instead, And also it does have a range, so if you have broken windows or knee jerk, you might actually be able to run out of its range and waste it entirely, but the range is a little long. I think it's 40 meters. If there's any nerf to the Vine, I hope it's to the range. I hope it cuts down to maybe 30 meters. I think that would be a little more fair. But otherwise, I think those are your ideal counters to that. I don't have any advice for the exploding rock on the ground. I think that is crazy to me. But also, it looks quite narrow. You'd have to be very precise hitting it, kind of like a hermit stun. And also, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the range of which she can throw it out is quite limited. So unless you're like close to her, I don't think she can like throw it halfway across the map and get snipes. Because the range is just far too short. So you might be able to also like bait that out like you would, try to force a hermit to throw a stun that is gonna miss, These are just things I'm thinking of, so it just seems like to me kiting Peddler is going to be a lot of mind gaming and a lot of keeping a good amount of distance. Yeah, I'm really not concerned about the going through walls thing. I think that has such niche benefit to it. I think really its only like great benefit will be stuffing rescues perhaps, but that's all I can think of. I can't think of it as being super broken in chase. It might cut off some looping patterns, but that's all I can think of really. And even then, you know, the standard procedure when that happens is to just transition to a new looping area. Because it doesn't look like she can cancel the skill, which means once it's up, it's kind of forced to be there for the 12 seconds that it's out. Oh, actually, wait. It was 12, 14, 12. It was it 12 for the passageway though, or was it 12 for the rock on the ground? Give me just a moment, I can figure this out. Yeah, 14 seconds, sorry. Yeah, so it's up for 14 seconds, which means once it's up, it lasts for 14 seconds. I don't think she can cancel it, which means that it either has to be good placement or it can easily go to waste, kind of like a mirror. So if you play it on that basis, where you keep caution and keep map awareness, I think that it's going to be okay. That walking through wall does not scare me at all. And I don't think that it should scare anyone else, but I would love to hear your reasons why it does scare you, if you are nervous of it. I'm a lot more concerned about the vine and the exploding ground, because that's gonna be rescue stuff for sure. Both of those abilities have strong possibility for stuffing rescue. And then locking cipher machines also doesn't faze me, because you can just start a new cipher and she can't lock long distance like, you know, like a clerk can. And she can't undo any progress already on it, so it should be fine, really. Those are my final thoughts. I don't have any more, really, I don't think. I think that I'm excited to see her in game. I'm really excited to learn her, to learn how to play against her, but these are my thoughts now. Is that any kind of survivor with pushback is going to be best against her Vine ability, or anyone who can, you know, take damage just fine, you know, is gonna be okay, or even healer like Doctor might be fine to some degree, or Barmaid, because they can heal it back up and then that's, you know, done and done. I don't know, we'll have to see. We'll really have to see when it's in game. I'm really, really excited for her to be in game though. But we're at the end now. We are actually at the end now. I'm not speaking or editing anymore. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, if you find this all to be overwhelming or terrifying. If you've learned anything maybe, or, you know, your own thoughts. I just want to hear what other people have going on in their heads, and also if you have any other strategy or potential counter ideas, I would love to open that discussion in the comments. But I hope that for any of those of you who might have been absolutely terrified, I hope that this video might put you a little bit at ease, or maybe might give you a new perspective, or maybe it's set you even further in your own, and that's okay too, you know? I want to remind everyone that nothing I'm saying now is absolutely set in stone. They might nerf Peddler before she releases. I don't believe so, because they don't usually do that. But also just, you know, straight up when she gets added in the game, her abilities might work vastly differently than maybe I expected them to. Maybe the cooldowns will be a lot different than what I expected. Maybe her abilities will be able to overlap. So don't take everything I said in this video as absolute hard fact. It is purely speculation. But thank you so much if you've managed to get this far. And I will be really excited to hear what you think. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.